Hello, everybody, and welcome back to a new episode of El Koki Otaku. Today, our special guest, which I met her before the recording, which that really happened, which happened before, but really, with many amazing characters, such as Takao's Ameku in Ameku M.D. Doctor Detective, Better Than Doctor House, Arrow in Fire Force, Greta Hilbard in Black Butler, a very special role. We need to speak about it as a narrator in Cultural Exchange with a Game Center girl, Urza in New Saga, and Wendy in Once Upon a Wish Dead, which really bring tears out of my eyes. It's about collecting tears.
It's sweet.
So it is. So today we welcome JACLYN Thomas.
You played it. You got it. Hi, everyone. Thanks for having me, Angel. I'm so excited. I've been looking forward to this all week.
How do you feel so far with so many big characters in the past few months?
Yeah, it's been. I don't know, man. You wait for something like this your whole life, and then all of a sudden it just happens. Is kind of what it feels like. Like, not that I ever really. All I've ever wanted is to be an actor, whatever that looked like. Like, I love theater, I love film, and I'm sure we'll talk all about this. But like, anime was something I wanted to add to my portfolio because I was a fan of the medium, and I moved to Dallas, and I got the ball went rolling as soon as I moved here. I got really lucky with that, and then it was like about a year of. I'm so grateful for like the training and all the wonderful people I met of doing like classes and Walla. And then all of a sudden, it's like you book your first thing. And then that is like when the traction starts. So I'm grateful. I'm doing everything I can to like keep that momentum. And I've learned my brain is so much bigger than it was 2 years ago. Because every single character has taught me something different. Every new director has taught me something different. My peers are incredible and helpful and kind, and they have taught me so much. So I hope as long as I can keep learning, then I hope I keep growing. But I'm so grateful. If I never, like literally, I don't know, it's cheesy. If I never did anything again, I'd be like, I've done so many cool things. Like, I'm so happy.
Let's kick off with one of the characters, or one of the series that really underestimate. I didn't see that was coming, and holy crap, it really hit me hard. Talking about Takao Ameku in Ameku M.D. Doctor Detective main character. Holy crap. How do you describe this series?
It is, I will cry talking about Takao. I love that series so much. I tell Jeremy Inman, who was the director of the series, all the time, I'm like, I can't stand you, man. You really ruined me with her. You really ruined me with her. She was everything I have ever wanted to play in a character. I typically do villains because I have a lower voice. In theater and in film, I'm very tall, so naturally villains has kind of been like what I've done my whole life, and I love it. I love being a villain, but Takao is more true to really who I am, like hyper focused, kind of sassy, probably a little bit annoying, but through the people she loves, she becomes a full person, a better person. And I just love her. She's like such a tsundere, and I never thought I was going to get to play that type of character. I always dreamed about like what everyone dreams about their first lead, you're like, what is it going to be like, what kind of show? And realistically, numbers game wise, I always thought it was going to be like an isekai, because that is where, if you're a woman in this industry, that's where a lot of the female roles are. And other like really big shows, you're scrolling in the auditions, you're scrolling past all the boys, and you're like, oh, there's 2 girls in this show. Great news. Awesome for me. So I was like, oh, it would be like, my dream would just be to be like the sidekick of someone. Like it wasn't even ever a lead in my head. It was never a lead, I guess. I never even really dreamed of it. And here is this like little pearl of a show where it is truly a female lead who it's so she's not super hyper feminine, which I also get cast as often. No problems with it. It's just like you find your niche. So I was like, I don't know if I could. Are you sure this is right? And Inman was very kind. He was like, I've met you and I've talked to you multiple times now. Yeah, this is right. I will never love a character the way I love Takao. I check weekly like a crazy person. I'm like, season 2 ? Season 2, maybe anybody, please, because it's a show that could go on forever. It's just little cases. It's just little adventures. So I'm like, oh, I'm very hopeful. I love that show. And again, kind of like what you were saying, it became more than I thought. I was like, oh, this is so silly and so fun. And then it broke my heart. And then I had to like put it back together. So I was like, oh my God, as an actor, I was like, I'm getting to do so much more than just be a sidekick. I'm really getting to use like my toolbox to bring her to life. And I was surrounded by the most wonderful people. I am such a fan of Katie. I'm such a fan of Gerard. And like having them in my ears, primo. I loved it.
And this series, surprisingly, like I said, it's like Doctor House. And I'm surprised. So first, my wife is a doctor. She's not here with me right now because she's working as she's in the hospital working.
Oh my God.
Every time I watch it with her, and she's like, I have to confess, she almost nailed all the cause of all case. However, I was like, "What? Okay, I know you guys are good, but holy cow, you're nailing it." She like, and she named it by name. That's blah, 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 blah. That weird Latin, which I can't get it. Then I go to YouTube and I see doctors saying, "Oh yeah, this series is good. They're really nailing the
pronunciation."
Yeah, oh my God, totally. There's not the sickness, the name of the conditions or the theory. So I'm here like, oh my God, this is a very interesting series. You confused me first because when I start watching this series, I see the main character, Takao, and I'm like, that voice sounds great. I love this character, but I can't place the voice. And when I go to check on the database, I see JACLYN THOMAS, and I'm like, wait, where she came from? Let me see her. One character? Like, what is going on here? And that's, again, well, speaking my last episode with Abby, there's some people like you guys that I see you guys shooting high. Suddenly, like, okay, I need to hold. I want to reach out now, but when is the right moment? Because keep going up. So this series, I have a lot of, it was a roller coaster emotion.
Yeah.
We're going to cry here for sure. Yeah. Which one was the moment that really surprised you from all the cases? You can drop spoilers. You have been already released on winter 2025, which is from January to May.
Yes. Yeah. We're doing spoilers. A lot in the show surprised me. Because again, it was one of those things where I was like, oh, I hope she's not too, sometimes with like the tsundere type, like they can kind of get one-dimensional. You know what I mean? And it's like, okay, we get it. Like, you're mean to people, but there has to be something else. And I was so glad that there was more. And we got to see that again. And I think that has a lot to do with Gerard's character, Kotsuri, or you, but I never called him that. But and helping her discover and be honest about those parts of herself. But Jeremy Inman gave me a heads up about the 2 big episodes that were coming up, and he was like, hey, this episode, the series is kind of taking a turn. So naturally, all of that stuff in the hospital with the boy when she's faced, because that's the only time we see Takao faced with something that she cannot fix. She can't. It doesn't matter how smart she is. It doesn't matter. You can't fix this. No power in the world, unfortunately, could. And it's like, then all you're left with is the feeling, the emotional, because she internalizes and tries to make sense of everything rather than feels it here, doesn't feel it here. So seeing her left with the decision of being like, I can only do this, and having to step up and thanks to Kotsuri and like be that hero to that kid of being like, all he's asking is like that you be there with him. And I was like, oh man, like who is she when all of her armor is like stripped away? So that was really surprising to me. But also, like, the show turning darker in general, like the human combustion thing. I was like, whoa,
I love it.
whoa, we're talking about like Jurassic Park in the first one. Like, a Tyrannosaurus Rex took his leg off, and then people are exploding. I was like, this is not what I thought was going to happen in this show. So yeah, it took me everywhere.
Which, funny story, there's a series right now, The Pit, which is a medical drama.
We were watching The Pit when at least I was, I know Inden was too, when we were recording Ameku.
And my wife is watching it, and I'm not watching, but suddenly I sit down next to her, and there's a patient. It's like super blue, low oxygenation, and so they say, "Oh, we need a blue something." And I look at her like, "That's the same from episode 1 from the Takao." And she's like, "Good job, you're learning." Like,
you're a doctor now.
Which it was interesting to see that how reality facts are mixing, and that roller coaster, that story on Takao story of this. When I saw it, it's super sad. We all knew what's going to happen.
Yeah.
But we were not, there's no way to be ready to witness what's going to happen.
Yes.
And I'm here thinking like, wow, I need to speak about it in the podcast, but I need to be careful because anime love to play with reality. And I think we all have one friend or family member who has gone through this cancer stuff. So I'm like, holy cow, I don't know how I'm going to touch this part.
Yeah.
Which, that's one of the beauty of anime. They know how to bring feelings and you go beyond the fantasy exciting. And I think because we all witnessed that feeling somehow, we got related more with Dr. Takao.
Yeah. And it's humans, that is unfortunately the cost of living a full life, is experiencing that loss. And God, I wish that was not true. But you're exactly right. Like, someone incredibly close to me, I watched her go through that. And it was, so it would just, like you said, it's a person away. It's always a person away. So it was very easy to kind of call upon those feelings. But I truly believe anyone could. Empathy is such a powerful thing. And I loved that, like exactly what you said when you were like, we all knew what was going to happen, but we just kind of had to sit and watch it happen. And for Takao, it was almost kind of flipped for me, because it was like, we all knew what was going to happen, but she didn't, because she refused. She was like, no, this won't happen. And it's everyone around her being like you, the viewer, being like, but it is going to happen. And she doesn't accept it until the very end. Like,
and then at the same time, I'm here sitting like, okay, this is hard for me, which I'm not a medical person. Of course, those people who are medical service employee, nurse, doctor, as in any kind, you can think about that feeling powerless when you work. So, you guys, you have to watch it up. It's a major feeling. It goes just talking about it.
Yeah, it's so good. I was very grateful for that opportunity. Like, I'm glad it went there. You know, I was very glad.
We made it out without tears. Let's get out before the tears roll out, because we need to move on. Otherwise, we're going to make it to the point we're going to.
It's really fun otherwise, guys. You got to watch it. It's really fun otherwise.
It is a must watch. And talking about must watch, one of the stories we've been waiting for so many years, and finally we're embracing the final season of this great series, Fire Force Season 3, when you're new as a character, which is important, especially now in this season, Arrow. Yes. So we know about Fire Force. We have been waiting, and those who haven't seen, because you don't want, what the hell are you guys waiting for? So Arrow, how do you feel like embracing this role? Because it's a double challenge now.
Yes. Dude, I thought the email was a mistake. Because I was a Fire Force fan. And I was confused. The talent coordinator sent the email that was like, hi, they're asking you to come in for, it says Fire Force and it says Arrow. And I was like, Arrow's already been in the show. Like, this show is cast. What? And I thought, okay, wait, because of course, like sometimes in very rare instances, we have to do voice matches where maybe someone is really sick. Maybe there's an emergency. And I'm also, but I go, I don't particularly sound. The actress who voiced Arrow in seasons 1 and seasons 2 is named Tabitha Ray. And I was like, I don't sound like Tabitha Ray. So I'm, okay, I'll do my best. If they are not happy, they'll grab someone else, no problem. So I get to the studio, and the director for that one was also Inmin. This was coming right out of Ameku. And I get in and I was like, hey, what's happening? What's going on? And he explained to me, Tabitha, you will not see this, Tabitha. I don't know where you are. She is wonderful, but she just doesn't act anymore. I hope she is living her best life, like in a beautiful cabin in the woods with her wonderful family. But she just doesn't. She, I think, left Crunchyroll during COVID, which was, of course, a really hard time for a lot of people. A lot of life changes happened. But that was the only reason. So it was one of those things where no one knew Fire Force Season 3 was going to happen. And then it did happen, and this character pops up again, and Inmin, who was the new director for Season 3, goes, I need someone to do this. And obviously, if you've watched Season 3 of Fire Force, Arrow is much closer to, like, my natural speaking voice than Takao is. And he really gave me rein. He was like, I was like, okay, like, can you play me clips of her, like, so I can mimic? And he was like, I don't want you to do that. I want you to do what I know that you can do for her, which was what a freaking blessing. Like, that's crazy. Because I was already honored to take on a role in a show that I love, full of a cast of people I admire. And then on top of it, be told, like, no, I want you to do what it is that you do. So that was huge for me. Just a crazy, crazy turn of events. And I'm so happy that I jumped on for Season 3 because some really cool stuff is coming up for Arrow. And I'm really hoping that the second half of Season 3, we get to see her again. Because I want to see some stuff happen. So
we have to. And I think you and the director were super right on this, because Season 3, it make us wait for it. We were like technically grabbing, like, please hope and give us Season 3 finally. And Season 3, I mean, Fire Force, each season is very different. You have a big story, doesn't waste time. And I feel like Season 3 didn't let it down. It bring a new pace. So yeah, it was a good timing for you to bring you in the industry. But how's that feeling to be a fighter antagonist here? Which we don't know.
Right? Exactly. So we have seen a little bit of spoilers if you haven't Season 3, like, her loyalty is to Sho. So it really depends on what Sho decides to do. If you have read ahead, if you know, then you will see. But for whatever reason, that is where her loyalty lies. And there is a lot there. So a lot, right? We're very much, for Arrow, for me, is very much on a seesaw. Should her guiding light go one way, it's going to be really bad. Should the tables turn, we might see a whole new side to her. But I love her. I love her type. I love a soldier. I'm a super loyal person. So that kind of archetype, that kind of character, I always love. And it was really one of the first times that I got to show. I'm a very theatrical person, but I really like playing characters that are very close to the chest, that keep it all locked. And that was the first time I kind of got to show that. So I was super happy. And again, I am a fan of, and have been a fan of, most of that cast since long before I started at Crunchyroll. So I was like, every time I scroll through the cast list, I'm like, what are you doing there? Who let me do this? This is crazy. So yeah, I'm obsessed with her. I love her so much.
My brother, he spoiled me something I didn't want to see. So I was like, you, what the freaking hell? Why you spoil me the end? And
I tried
to pretend I didn't see it. However, it gave me a better idea how the hell Fire Force get related to Salt Eaters, which I'm like, gosh, making sense now, but okay, I still don't get it, and I don't want to get it until I freaking watch it.
Yes, absolutely.
And that's going to be I think throwing the table will be short enough to describe what's about to happen.
I know. I'm so about it. I usually I don't read ahead. I'm not a read ahead type of actor. I like to experience things when my character does. But there was so much weight on this, and people really love this series, and I was taking it on. So I was like, I am gonna read this one. I want to know where her head's at. So I'm very excited.
Yeah, Fighter Force is Fighter Force. Calming down a little bit, one character which is more smooth, more toned down. It's in Black Butler, the new arc, Emerald Witch arc, where you had the character of Greta Hilbard.
Yeah.
So how's that experience of being in a big series for so many years, and now you have a not main character, but very close to the main character?
Absolutely. Yeah, I couldn't believe. Okay, again, if you were an anime lover, you've watched Black Butler, right? Like especially I was a teenage girl. Of course, I watched Black Butler. Of course, I love Black Butler. Of course, I had posters of Sebastian Vacatus all over my room. So, like, that was another series that I was like, that's never coming back. And lo and behold, Public School Arc is coming out right about the time that I'm getting involved at Crunchyroll. Caitlin Glass is the director. She is incredible. And one thing about Caitlin Glass is she cares deeply about all of her shows. And that is why she's so wonderful to work with. It inspires you to work harder. You want to get in that booth and you're like, I want to give the best performance of my life here. And then it's involved with a show that has such a following that, again, is coming back. You don't want to disappoint people. I was very lucky. I actually also worked on Public School Arc. I was additional voices in that because Crunchyroll was looking for people with British accents. And some lore about me, I worked at Universal for most of my adult life before I moved here. And both of my main roles at Universal had a British accent. So I was doing a British accent for 40 hours a week for about 6 years of my life. So I'm very confident with my British accent. I love all accent work, but I was like, this is it. I'm in, baby. I recorded. I got that. I worked with Caitlin for the first time. It was wonderful. Learned a lot. Then this one comes around and they're like, German accents. And I said, anytime I see an accent call in an audition, I'm in. You're never getting rid of me. I'm the most annoying person. I love accents. So I was like, oh, okay. I don't know. Like, I'm going to try it. Of course, I've had to do German before. We'll see how it goes. And then we get brought in for Awala. I could have cried. I was so excited. I said, I can't believe I get to do another season of Black Butler. What an honor. And then, Caitlin, I get an email after my first Walla session that's like, Caitlin wants to have you as Greta Hilbard. And I was like, that was the moment for me at Crunchy so far where I heard like the static in my ears because I was like, she has a name and she's in Black Butler. She has a name and she's a name. What do you mean? So that was incredible. And again, I kind of do think I'm great. Shout out to Universal. Thank you for all of the accent work and the weird roles that you made me do. But I think Arrow helped with that. Again, like that soldier, militant role. But I was so excited to, one, be able to really use my accent, learn more about the accent. Shout out to Ben. He was incredible. But like, it was just incredible. What do you, and that's still the character that people come to my table for the most because Black Butler has such pull. And I love talking about Black Butler. So yeah, to be any part of the story was enough for me, more than enough. And then to be a named character and a baddie, yes, I'll be having that. That was the best.
And you guys can take proud in this. I remember when Crunchyroll reached out to me. Hey, honest, we're going to coordinate an interview, so see you can run it in Spanish. And I'm like, of course, for oh my god, the public art school.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah, the public school art.
And I'm like, did I read right? Black Butler is back?
Oh, crazy.
And I remember Brina was being interviewed. So Brina said, hey, Oni, we're going to run this in Spanish. So are you ready? Like, of course, going to be interesting. We're going to do this. And from there have been a roller coaster because even one of my last episodes with Connor Allison, who had the character of Wolfram.
Yes.
It killed me because the accent you guys use is so British, and I'm like, okay, where the hell they record this? Oh wait, no, sorry, German.
Yeah.
So
He was
wonderful,
wasn't he? He was so
really.
great. Yeah.
So, how do you describe your character for those who haven't seen yet?
Yeah, so Greta, when you first meet Greta, you don't know her intentions. There's a lot in this series that it's Black Butler, right? Not everything that meets the eye. It's a thriller. It's a mystery series, which are my favorites. And of course, you're suspicious of her. She's a tall woman with black hair who doesn't seem interested in anyone. So naturally, you're like, who is that woman? But she is surrounded, but she's got her little girl gang, who is amazing. I love everybody that was a part of that. Actually, my best friend, Kirsty, was in my roommate. She was also the hag in that, who became like a really big deal. So I was floating on clouds that whole season. So Greta is, again, militant, steely. You are suspicious of her immediately, but God, she's good to look at. Oh, what a stunner. And I love a fight scene. I rarely get to do them with my characters. So we get to see in the series, to not spoil it too much, we get to see her get into it with one of the main staff, which was so exciting for me too, because again, not only being a named character, but being able to have scenes with these voices who I've listened to my whole life. That was huge for me. And I loved hearing, since we mentioned Connor, hearing them every episode. Oh my God, I couldn't get enough. I was so impressed by everybody. To be able, for people to do, like, do we have enough people who can do a British, a German accent? And it was like, yeah, we sure do. But again, that's a shout out to JACLYN, and a shout out to Ben Stegmar, who is an incredible voice actor, but he is German and helped us with a lot of the pronunciations and stuff. I'm really proud of that. I'm so proud of the work that everybody did.
So, how do you make it to the anime world? You said at the beginning you have been always involved in the artist industry, but to make it here, how that happened?
Yeah, so that was a weird thing that kind of took place. I've been acting my whole life. I'm very fortunate for that. In fact, until the pandemic, I'd never had like a job because I grew up in Orlando. So I was working at Disney, I was working at Universal. You can do that full time, and it's a wonderful life. Pandemic happened. A lot happened to me. I moved overseas. I moved to South Korea for a while. That was great. But as wonderful as Orlando was to me, and it was, I love that place, the safety of it kind of kept me from pursuing the stuff that I want to do. My greatest love in the world is film. It will always be my greatest love. It will always be the thing that I chase. I love on-camera work. I love the closeness. But a smart actor diversifies their portfolio. That's how you survive. I had always loved anime. I really wanted to get involved. My other best friend, Lexi Nieto, who we both know, we both love, had come to Dallas by the time that I had gotten home from overseas, and she was doing it. And I was like, I was so proud of her. I really want to do this. Am I done being scared? Am I done? And the answer was yes. I was over it. Moving overseas by yourself will do that for you. You are not scared of anything after that. And I had my agent at the time kind of shoot my shot. I was like, I'd done a lot of commercial voiceover, and I was like, and again, I've been an actor for forever. I was like, can you just send them my stuff and see what happens? Crunchyroll really wants to work locally, so they were like, great, but you have to be local. And I said, bet. So I moved. I was very fortunate because two of my best friends from Orlando had already made the jump. I came over here. But the really fortunate thing, you know how everybody talks about how they got in? Mine is a crazy story only because I actually got an in-person audition at Crunchyroll, which never happens. They hadn't done that in years because they never have the time to. Anime comes out so fast these days. I mean, we're churning out a bunch of shows every single season, every single day, every single week. But it so worked out that One Piece was on a break. And the director of One Piece at the time is and still is Emily Fajardo. And they made her see some people in person. I was one of those people. I went in, I read some sides. We worked together a little bit. I left, and the next day in my inbox, I had the contract to sign to become an actor at Crunchyroll. So it truly, I'm so thankful that the dominoes kind of fell in that order for me. It was like, I'm so glad that I didn't let fear stop me. I came here when I did, because I would have never gotten that. Now One Piece is back on episode number 1,500, whatever. So it's just, it really, you know, if you're brave enough to chase it, you'll see what happens. And that's kind of how it started for me.
By the way, former cast member from Disney.
Oh, shit. Disney?
Yeah, cast member, DCP program 2012.
Where'd they put you?
You? It was on Downtown Disney, and they closed the building already. It was like a video game of
Disney Quest
and Cirque du Soleil. So it's the end.
Oh my god! Okay, I know exactly what you're talking about.
We'll talk about this later because I was on Disney Quest and I was also with Cirque du Soleil. So was many times I was backstage with those very handsome people, very fit, and they were super friendly. And they're like,
yeah.
Damn. And I make the great mistake that my girlfriend, which my wife now, we date. She was also a DCP student. I used to get free tickets to Soleil, and I say, hey, can I use one of the free pass? Sure, you said. And when we're backstage, all these handsome guys walking almost shirtless, and I hear like, yeah, I think I make a mistake here, but sure, whatever. It is what it is.
I love that. Oh my god, we have to talk about that because I love it. Shout out to all the park performers. Mwah.
Yes. We all know, a fellow former cast member by the Disney Point. Which way?
It was two finger. Oh, what a time.
However, speaking about your role, you have one role that always admires a lot, and I feel like it's, many people underestimate it. I always call it the invisible character. It's the narrator role, where you were the narrator of cultural exchange with a game center girl.
Mm-hmm.
I always say, is it the invisible player character? Yeah. Many people underestimate such important role. It can save a scene, like it can hyper up or destroy it.
Totally.
How was that experience as a narrator?
I was so excited because it was my first time ever really working with Jason, which was so exciting. And of course, again, accent work. So the audition came through and I was like, yeah. And that is particularly fun. I think any actor will tell you that they love a narrator role because there's no flaps. There's nothing to match. So you get to do whatever you and the director want with that. When I first went in for cultural exchange, I have quite a few different British accents, and the audition called for RP, which is very fancy and really doesn't get used. It's very, like, people call it Queen's English. People don't talk like that anymore. It's very, very rare, and maybe some very older people, but it's not real. It's very posh, like beyond. People don't talk like that. So I kept thinking about, like, the Great British Bake Off. Like, I always think about the Great British Bake Off. And I was like, is it fun if it's, like, over the top? And it was Jason. So, of course, he was like, yes, that's what I want. I want it to be whimsical. I want it to be big. And truth be told, I have friends that used to work with me at Universal. And the voice that I'm doing for cultural exchange was a voice of a character that I did at Universal for like 6 years. And so people will text me and be like, that was very Penelope, because that was her name. And I was like, yep, it was. But I love it. I get to be big and silly and kind of the disruptor. I love how it works in cultural exchange, where it's like, oh, you probably don't understand this. Let me explain. Okay, bye. Like, I'll see you later. But I love kind of the over the top, very decadent nature of the voice. It's very fun. I could do it forever. I think it's very silly. But yeah, more narrator roles. I love it. No flaps, baby. Do whatever you want.
I love the narrator, for example, and you're the best witness, because we were talking about this on the T3 theater.
Sure.
Right? I'm a big fan of Ian Sinclair, but you will not believe that the reason why I'm a big fan of Ian is because his narrator, as I love his war,
Yes.
and also Reliana, also big fan of that show. But the narrator is a good example in that series that if it's because if it wouldn't be by the narrator, the show wouldn't deliver those punches the way it does.
Yes. Oh, and he's
So-
phenomenal in that show. Yeah.
So as a narrator, how did you define that tone, that way to deliver? Because like I was saying, you had the chance to deliver sadness, funny, but what are your measure to say, okay, this is how I'm going to praise it from here?
Right. And you definitely do what the scene demands. So Jason's wonderful about it. I'll go in because my sessions are very short. I usually have 15, 20 minutes. And I go in and he's like, here is what is happening. Like, what am I walking into? Because if I'm walking in on Lily's, like, for something horrible happened, I don't want to pop it unless that's the joke. Right. But he sets the tone for me. And per usual with everything else, I listen to it in the J. In the J, the narrator is much more straightforward, almost like clinical in a way, to be like, here's your context, which is also very funny to be like, I'm practically a librarian. Here's what I am doing. I think my narrator is very much a gossip in my head. She is yappy. She's a talker. She's a gossip. She wants to know everything. And she is that view in that insight for the audience. So I wanted her ultimately to feel like your friend that talks too much. If that makes sense. So that is what I wanted her to feel like. Because I wanted the interruption to be helpful, but also funny. And it is an interruption. Like you're watching a scene happen. And then she's like, oh, by the way, left. It's very much like, oh. But I think that is charming, and I think that's fun, and I'm really glad that Jason kind of let me do it that way. But yeah, he's the help of that scene. So if I went in next week for one last episode and it was like, yeah, something, there was heartbreak, there was something, you do what the scene demands, as always. But I try to keep the character consistent within that, because sometimes when they don't have a face, it's harder to know what the instinct is. You are the decider of that. There's no preconceived, I can't see if she's crying. I can't see if she's annoyed, pissed. Like, I don't know. So Jason's a big help, and watching through it, of course, definitely helps.
That's exactly what I call it always, the invisible character.
Yeah.
Nobody see the face. You only see it by the voice.
Mm-hmm.
And talking about voice, in a very interesting series, which I watched for this episode, and dang, it really hooked me. Talking about new Saga in Urza.
Yeah.
Holy cow! What a great show! How do you describe this new Saga for those who haven't seen new Saga?
New Saga is so much fun. I'm very grateful for my first. I feel like it is a badge of honor to have your first anime magic show. Everybody's got an anime magic show. There's 10,000 of them. And I was like, I really feel like a voice actor now. Because I finally have my own magic show. I am a huge, where is she? Yeah, there she is. And over here, I'm a huge D&D fan. D&D is my first love. It is my only love. It is what I would do all the time if I could. I love Dungeons and Dragons. I love tabletop role-playing games. I love fantasy. So this is a world that I'm very familiar with. The tropes I'm familiar with. The structuring of the party I'm familiar with. And I went into New Saga, I will say, and I was like, I know exactly what's going to happen in this show. I know, I get it. But the thing that I'm having a lot of fun with, outside of everybody that is in the cast, is wonderful. Rebecca Dene is the sweetest, most wonderful anime girl you could ever hear or listen to. I'm obsessed with Kyle Ignacy. I think he is a genius. And if you've never heard the man sing, you're missing out. He's got a beautiful voice, and obviously Kyle Phillips is the funniest person in the world. So like, I'm surrounded by wonderful people, and again, I'm getting to play the more steely, but I wasn't expecting Urza to have her outbursts that she has, that like frantic, very anime outburst, and I was like, this is fun for me to explore. I've never really done this. But if you haven't watched New Saga yet, Kyle is a very interesting protagonist. As season 1 goes on, we see that he is like kind of a jerk sometimes, which I really like. I think we have a ton of male protagonists who are like, I'm a hero. And he's like, I'm here to get stuff done. And I'm here to save the people I love. And I'll do anything to make sure that happens. And I said, oh, well, this is different. So if you love magic, if you love fantasy, and you need a little twist on it, give it a chance. I really hope we get to see the story continue in season 2. I really hope so. Fingers crossed for that. I'm always hoping for a season 2, obviously, but there's more story to tell.
It have to. I was surprised because, of course, when you see the trailer, you're going to be, okay, I think we have seen it before, but it really changed the whole story. Thinking about it's a real life, but now you know the future, which is starting a very strong quote. Mm-hmm. I made it to defeat the devil. However, I lost everything I care about. So I'm like, ooh.
And was it worth it to defeat all that evil but lose everything? And he's like, no, it literally wasn't. So I was like, whoa. Yeah.
And I thought Urza have very interesting characters. A very interesting sundere. How do you describe Urza?
Yeah, same thing for her. She is another intellectual for sure. If you are a fantasy fan, she is the elf of the party, which alone has its own context. And that is the thing that I was going in with. I was like, I know an elf in a party. I got this. But the interesting thing I think that I'm having fun with about Urza is, though she is an elf, she's probably much older than everybody else in the party. She has so much to learn outside of her own comfort zone. So being around Lise and Theron and Kyle again, she at times is almost kind of like a baby as far as her understanding of things. She's like a stubborn toddler. Like if things don't meet up to my standard that I have set for myself, I hate it and I'm gonna have a temper tantrum. And you're like, girl, you need to. That's not how the world works. Grow up a little bit. I know you're probably 100 something, but you need to continue. So I'm enjoying those moments of kind of her stubbornness, but I love that she always goes back to, okay, I need to be more level-headed. And as she's grown to care about them, I love that I was posting about this the other day. I love that she's kind of become the stern mom of the party.
She's a mom or mom like, mom.
Like, literally, because of course, if you haven't watched the show, right, we're all wondering like, who does Kyle end up with? Obviously, Urza is literally his ex-wife. She just doesn't remember that. She doesn't know. Yeah, literally. But I love her, like, when she's, like, cleaning the crumbs off of everybody's face. And she's like, well, someone has to do this job. So I guess I'll do it. It's not going to be Theron. So I guess I'll do it. And Lise is so young. Like, she's just so young. So I think she kind of sees an opportunity I think she likes taking care of them more than she would admit. But I also think she just likes being in charge. So when she has an opportunity to overstep Kyle, she will.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I saw your post last night about, she's getting the mom role. And I'm here like, mom or mom?
Period.
I ain't seeing something here. Like, I think that we're speaking about the same word, but different type of meaning.
Different type of meaning. Yeah, she's very that. Yeah, she's mother. It's giving mother for sure. Yeah.
It is tough because like the main character said at the beginning. It's Kyle? Yeah. No, it's not Kyle. Yeah, Kyle.
Yeah.
Kyle said at the beginning. We fell in love in my first life. So I'm here like, holy shit, guys. Dude, you're showing everything now. So there's a good chance that might not happen.
Right. You went back like you're very confident. They could fall in love again, or it's a different timeline or not. And yeah, we're like, we don't know. I know the writer knows. And I just
let's see. Just like the people from One Piece. I always joke that I wonder if by the end, the final One Piece station is the friendship that they develop through the journey. I will laugh so much at that.
I would die. Yeah. Thousands of episodes and be like, it was the friends we made along the way.
And I'll be like, anyway, talking about sad story that really make us fell in love. You have one of the interesting character, Wendy, in Once Upon a Witch Dead.
Yeah.
Oh my god, this series, I didn't see that one coming. For those who haven't seen this beauty series, which, yes, okay, Once Upon a Witch describe kind of the title. But really doesn't describe it at all.
Yeah.
Will you describe this one?
Of course, yeah. I actually think, to jump back to, like, I wasn't expecting that at all. Hannah and Abigail, who are two leads in the show, talked very passionately about it. And once I watched the whole thing through, because that show for me was falling into the category of like, if my character's not there, I have no idea what's going on. So, and then I was like, I love this. And I loved I'm a sucker, man. I loved everyone's performances. So I was like, I need to watch it. Whoa. Was not expecting it. Again, it is a magic show. I love it. I'm very biased. It is predominantly all female characters. So I was like, I love seeing all my girls together. This is amazing. And all the people that voice them, again, very talented. But what they do with the lead is unbelievable. It's very funny. If you love a comedic show, you will love it. But it's not comedy with no bones. It's got bones. It's got heart. It is, I think, Onyx, I think you said it perfectly. Like, you will not expect what is coming. It is a show that I'm so grateful that I got to be a part of, and I really wish more people watched it because it was a really special story.
And it went very deep in many, especially with feelings, because quick spoiler, I mean, not spoiler, this is about a story. He's about to die, but her master, teacher, who take care of her, files tell her, hey, you collect 1,000 hundreds, 100 tears, at least 100 tears. You maybe find a way to survive the curse that you're going to die in 1 year.
Yeah.
So that act, collecting tears, it went more deeper than we thought, because at one point she's like, I'm just collecting tears. Yeah. And it killed me the line when one of the characters is female. She said, hey, it's sad that you're just collecting tears just because, like tokens. You don't see the meaning any longer. It was like,
yeah. It'd be like every single one of these was special. Someone's heart is in this. Like, but you're so focused on the goal that you forget that. But, and if, oh my God, but isn't that so that's absolutely so profound, and it's just so true. Like, you talk to your friends and you're like, how are you? And they're like, I'm okay. I kind of had a bad day. And we're also used to like saying that kind of stuff that like, oh, anyway, hope it gets better. But if you take the time to really think about it, you're like, I'm actually very sorry. That sucks. And I don't know what the bad day, I don't need to know what the bad day was to know that sucks. And each one of those days is special. You know what I mean? So it's like the pain you feel can be uniquely your own. And I love that we have those shared experiences, but it's tough out there. And I love that she, again, for especially such an interesting character, that she had people around her to remind her of that. And what a transformation. Like, you know what I mean? From point A to point B. Like, the growth of her, beautiful. Beautiful to watch.
And what about Wendy, which is a very character, which really tricked us for one of it. How was that experience? And how do you describe Wendy?
Yeah, Wendy is really fun. Wendy is totally different from me, but she's what I thought I would be. When I jumped into the anime world, I was like, I think I'm going to do this stuff more often. It is rare that I get to use like my upper register. And I was really grateful to Helena for calling me in for a chance to do that. So as an actor, I was really excited. I was like, I'm going to try my best. Here we go. But Wendy is, she is Arrow in a different universe. And what I mean by that is like, she is incredibly loyal to one person. She will do anything. People maybe underestimate Wendy, like, because of X, Y, or Z. But like, Wendy is my role in my friend group often, where it's like, we don't want to talk to this group of strangers. I'm like, I'll do it. Hi, everyone. You know what I mean? Like, I have a genuine love for people. I love meeting new people, talking to new people. And Wendy is very much like that. That's her job. Because Chloe's not going to do that. Not only can we not keep the secret, Chloe doesn't want to do that. Like, so I love that she is, to me, Wendy is strong in her own way. Wendy is brave in her own way. She is a person, maybe based on looks, who would be underestimated. And I was like, no, she's a beautiful badass. She's a beautiful badass, like, who would do anything for her friends. And I love those types of characters, the ones that you underestimate. I love that.
From the character that you have done so far, which one you consider the most challenging or the one that really helped you to evolve as a voice actor in the anime world?
For sure. Well, there's one I wish I could talk about, but I can't talk about it yet.
Yeah.
But I will say, there are, wow. There's been, obviously Takao was the one I was with for the longest, and therefore I learned so much. I became faster. I became sharper in the booth. I learned, because of how wonderful of a director Jeremy Inman is, I learned to trust myself, because I was having a hard time. I was like, I really trust myself in front of a camera. I trust myself when I'm doing theater. I love my choices and I feel very confident. This is a new world for me. I was struggling with that. So Takao really taught me a lot. And I got, like you said, I really got to explore so many different angles in one person. And a lot of times you don't get to spend that long with a person. And then I will also, I will also mention, I kind of got thrown into the fire on my first day in a booth. Because my first day ever taught me a lot. But it was for a bit in One Piece. And the Wano arc. Mind you, this One Piece is my favorite. This was my first day ever in a booth at Crunchyroll. And I got called in. And you never know with some of the bit parts. It just says, like, can you come in for Wano Mother to whatever? And you're like, yes, I would love to do anything. And it was the episode where, if you're a One Piece fan, I won't go into too much detail, so I don't want to bore anybody, but like, it has to do with the people of Wano and the Smiling Fruit, which is a horrible, heartbreaking story. And it's very real, and it makes me choke up every time. And I step in, my knees are clacking together, and Emily tells me I'm going to play this mother who is begging for her child's life, who is crying out to the heavens, feeling, please, I will do anything. I will do anything. And then ultimately is given a smile fruit and, loses her mind. And I was like, I just got here. So the first time I was like, I have to like bawl my eyes out. I have to plead for my child's life. And she's like, you ready? Go. And I was like, okay. Oh my God. It's my favorite franchise ever. So I think in a way first of all, the fact that she trusted me with that, I will remember that for forever. And that set up a beautiful relationship with us of like trust, and to get to stretch myself in that way. My first day ever in a booth, I was like, oh, there is beautiful work to be done here. And I'm going to chase that feeling as long as I am lucky enough to be doing this work. Because there's beautiful moments like that in these shows. Really real moments. And I said, anything I can do to give voice to that, I want to do that.
Nice. JACLYN, thank you so much. For those who haven't followed you yet, which social media can they follow you?
Yeah. I have my two public ones are Instagram and Twitter. So I'm checking right now because, guys, I'm so bad at social media. Let me look at my Instagram right now. Another thing, gang, that I always mention is I'm always at cons, not as a guest, but as a host. Because this is a hard job. Thank you for doing such a wonderful job, because people don't know how difficult it is. So I'm so grateful for your passion. And thank you for giving us a platform to talk about the stuff that we love. So if you ever see me at a con, please come say hi. You can follow me. I'm JACLYN G. Thomas on Instagram and Twitter. So anything, anywhere I am, what I'm doing, what's going on. If you're a Dallas local and you go see theater, I post all that stuff on there.
Nice. And like always, guys, just go down to the description of this episode, expand description, and right over there, you're going to find JACLYN links to all her social media. Just one click, boom, you're there. Just make it easy for you guys. And like always, guys, I'm always begging for you guys for you to subscribe, like, and share to this episode video on YouTube. And you can find us all the social media except Twitter. Blue Sky. But so, JACLYN, thank you so much for everything.
Thank you, love. Thank you. It was an absolute pleasure. Thank you for everything that you do. I really appreciate it.
You have been a great time. And I will see you guys in the next episode.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.